Welcome to another Straight Up Tuesday tip. I'm 𝗤𝘃𝗀𝗀, licensed agent with Second City Real Estate. With me, as always, is Mark Ainley, founder and co-owner of 𝗤𝘃𝗱𝗰𝗀𝗀 Realty. And with us again for probably the sixth or seventh time, Perry Farella from Prime Lending. For those who are just finding us, Perry was a guest on episode 67, and he's done multiple Tuesday tips. I read off a few of them. 108, episode 114, 120, 144, 147 has been providing a ton of knowledge to our listeners. And in that episode, the Straight Up Tuesday tip, that was episode 114, we talked about creative ways to do financing for ADU projects, because Freddie Mac had not come up with a way for you to get credit for the rehab you would do on an ADU project for a 2 to 3 unit building. It was only if it was 1 unit. Most of us have 2, 3, 4 unit buildings that are looking in the ADU zone. So Perry has some exciting news though from Freddie Mac update. So Perry, why don't you talk to us a little bit about what is the update here and why should our investors care?
All right. Hey, thanks, Tom. Thanks, Mark. So the update here is really important because finally Freddie Mac is caught up with the way housing is moving in this country right now to create more housing units, alleviate housing shortages. So if you have an existing duplex or triplex, or in Chicago, we might call that a 2-flat or a 3-flat, in the past, Freddie Mac, through a choice renovation loan, which gives you all the money to build out the ADU and renovate the main building if you want, would not allow you to have an ADU on a 2 or 3-flat property, only on a single family. So that's changed now finally. So if you have a 2-flat, you can put an ADU in even in a separate building, like as a coach house, or if you want to demolish your garage, build a new garage that's structurally sound enough to carry an apartment over the garage spaces. That's a completely brand new build, new construction building. So with choice renovation from Freddie Mac, you can now do that even with the fact that you already have 2 or 3 housing units in the main building. The key differentiator between an ADU itself and one of the regular apartments that you might have in your 2 or 3-flat is that the ADU has to be smaller or basically subordinate in size to one of the apartments. You can't put a full-size apartment on somewhere and call it an ADU. And the main building has to have more value, of course, than the ADU building would. So like an example might be in the city with the ADU ordinance the way it is right now, you can build a 700 square foot apartment on an outbuilding somewhere, like over the garage, for example, as long as it's not higher than 22 feet in selected areas around the city. So that would be a true ADU. An ADU has to consist of a bathroom facility, a kitchen, a living facility. It could be an efficiency or studio type apartment. It does not have to have a separate bedroom. So there's some misconceptions about ADUs versus just adding another apartment. Additionally, Freddie Mac through choice renovation will allow you to add an ADU in an existing basement space or attic space if you can get the zoning to do that. But again, the ADU has to be smaller than the existing regular apartments, and it has to have a separate entrance. It cannot be accessible only through one of the regular apartments, then it's not an ADU. So it has to have some type of standalone separate ingress and egress for it to be considered a true ADU. And that's kind of exciting news, because if I have a 2-flat and I wanted to put another apartment in, maybe my basement isn't tall enough. Maybe I don't have room in the basement for that. But maybe I would want to demolish my old frame 2-car garage and put up a new 2-car garage that has a 700 square foot apartment above it, which someone in my neighborhood did last year, actually. And then suddenly I've got an additional piece of income that's coming in from the ADU. And as I said, the ADU can be an efficiency apartment, it can be a 1-bedroom, whatever you can fit in the square footage that you can do it, as long as the ADU is smaller than the existing apartments, then it's called an ADU. If it were to be the same size as the existing apartments, it would just simply be another apartment. So there's a nuanced difference here between an ADU and a full-size apartment. And that's what I wanted to get across. The ADU has got to be smaller than the existing full-size apartments that you might have in your 2 or 3-flat, and then it's an ADU. Additionally, a 4-unit building, if you already have 4 units, like in a 4-flat, then it is not allowed to be financeable to have an ADU, meaning there cannot be 5 units in one parcel.
Yep. So one more quick nuance. Another thing is if you're going to build that garage, you're going to tear down the garage and build a coach house, you cannot replace existing parking. So if there's a 2-car garage, you can't just build like a 2-story coach house there. You need to come back with 2 garage spaces and the coach house above. Another nuance that we caught on a recent deal that we closed on.
Yeah, exactly. So as long as you keep the parking in Chicago and you put the 700 square feet on the second floor and the building isn't any taller than 22 feet, then you get a perfect ADU situation, which can now be financed with Freddie Mac renovation, whether you do any renovation in your main building or not. And obviously, if you already own it, this is a refinance mortgage, meaning that we would pay off the first mortgage that you already have on your 2 or 3 flat and add a new mortgage called choice renovation. And that would have enough money to pay off the existing loan, plus add the dollars into it that you needed to finance the full construction of the ADU, even if it was a new build of a brand new garage building.
So what if the city views the unit as non-conforming, or maybe you have a attic apartment that meets all of the loan guidelines, but isn't called a legal unit or conforming unit in the city's eyes? Does that work on your side of this too?
Yeah, that'll work as long as the zoning is either legal or legal non-conforming, or even in some cases there might be no zoning at all. The loan will not have any problem with those zoning categories, as long as everything meets the city's requirements for square footage and so forth, parking spaces, et cetera, that the city might have.
Yep. So from an investor standpoint, though, the city is likely going to make you pull full plans and permits, go behind the walls, do rough inspections. Like you will end up, even if you don't want to do anything to the unit, you will end up doing work to the unit to get through the city side of things. So lender side's the easier part of the equation there when you have one of those non-conforming.
What about the appraiser though? Does the appraiser have to note something in their appraisal to make sure that it's meeting terms on the lender side? Is there any gotchas there?
Yeah, on the appraisal side, we want to have a like kind property. So meaning that we've got to find another property, at least one that already has a coach house. Let's say if it was a coach house situation or another ADU situation, maybe it's a small basement apartment or a small attic. So we'd want one like kind property for an appraiser to be able to set the value.
Got it. So exciting stuff. Like for those who were looking to buy a 2-unit, turn into a 3-unit, whatever, you had to find non-traditional financing. Now it's mainstream. Now Freddie's got a product, and now it becomes a lot easier to get this done and not fork rehab out of pocket, right? That's the Cliff Note version of the excitement here.
Yeah. And the short answer is it's one loan, one closing. So you're getting one brand new 30-year fixed rate loan that just has the funds to put the ADU in on it, and you don't ever have to refinance out of that loan.
And in this environment, that's a huge benefit, right? If your rehab's gonna be 6 months, we don't know where rates are gonna be in 6 months. So.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's just a regular loan. You have to do all the qualifications. It's not going to be for an LLC, so it has to be in the individual's name. Many clients will move the property back to their LLCs after closing. That's usually never questioned. But the loans are done to individuals only, not to businesses, not to LLCs, et cetera.
Awesome. Mark, good to wrap?
Good to wrap. That's a lot of awesome information. That opens the doors for a lot of people.
Yeah. All right. Who's this for, Mark?
It's for Tanya. Tanya, it just is Tanya M. But Tanya M bought a pair of straight up Chicago investor jogging pants. That's awesome. I want to see someone jogging with straight up Chicago pants. Like that'd be awesome.
So I've run into people like in like Home Depot or just at open houses who have said, "Oh, straight up Chicago." Like I've had that experience. I have not caught some random person wearing our gear yet. Okay. I'm waiting for that. That'll make my day.
I've seen some people post it online, and people have showed me other people posting online of them wearing it. So that always makes me feel good.
All right. So today we haven't covered yet the St. Valentine's Day massacre that everyone knew that Al Capone was behind, but it was never proven. So on the morning of February 14th, 1929, 7 men affiliated with the Bugs Moran gang were shot to death, lined up against a wall inside a garage in Chicago's Lincoln Park neighborhood. What Lincoln Park street were they on? I'll give you multiple choice. Is it Lincoln, Halsted, Webster, or Clark?
sure it's Clark. The garage in Clark.
It's Clark, man. 2122 North Clark, just south of Webster.
So I am a big like Chicago mob, like I read all those books and Tied with Vegas and all, like, so I love all that stuff. So that's and I remember
too easy then. I'll make the next one harder. That's good, Mark. That was solid.
I went on the tour there too, and I remember them taking. They would go on like the haunted. It was on the haunted tour. It was on like a mobster tour. So the Chicago haunted tour where they took us by that lot as well. I think it's a vacant lot still now.
It is still a vacant lot there. Yes.
I wonder if they're allowed to build on it even. I thought about that, but awesome. Hell yeah, dude. I got another one. Tina, enjoy your sweatpants and hopefully we'll see you around so we can say you're the first we saw wearing our sweatpants.
There you go.
Perry, awesome show. Tom, thank you as always. Listeners, please smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and please refer us to a friend. Perry, thank you. Tom, thank you as always, and we'll see you Thursday.
Thanks all.